Hello and welcome to the first week of our climate action course. This week we will learn about climate and the severity of climate change. Following that, we will understand the significance of climate change and discuss some climate change glossaries. Let's start by understanding climate. Climate refers to the average weather conditions in a certain location throughout time. It is not just about the weather today or this week, it is about what you might expect in general over many years. Climate is influenced by various factors, but two of the most significant factors that shape climate are sunlight and the geographical conditions. Solar energy. The amount of sunlight an area receives from the sun is a primary driver of climate. The sun is the source of heat for our planet. Different parts of the Earth receive varying amounts of sunlight throughout the year due to the Earth's tilt and its orbit around the sun. This variation in solar energy leads to differences in temperature and climate around the world. Areas closer to the equator receive more direct sunlight and tend to be warmer, while areas closer to the poles receive less direct sunlight and are generally colder. Geography and landforms. Physical aspects of the Earth's surface, such as mountains, seas, and the size and position of continents, all influence climate. Proximity to oceans. Oceans have a moderating effect on temperature. Coastal areas often experience milder and more stable temperatures compared to inland areas because water heats up and cools down more slowly than land. This leads to climates with less temperature variation. Mountains. Mountains can block the movement of air masses and influence the distribution of precipitation or rainfall. Mountains can create significant climate variations on both sides of the range. Let's pause and discuss the following question. What are your thoughts on the current environmental conditions in our region? Climate zones. The Earth is divided into different climate zones based on patterns of temperature and precipitation. Climate zones are regions of the Earth's surface that share similar long-term weather patterns and climate conditions. Climate zones help scientists and geographers classify and describe the different types of climates found around the world. The main climate zones include tropical zone. These areas are typically warm and get a lot of rain. Rainforests are an example of a tropical zone. Temperate zone. Temperate climate zones have distinct seasons with varying temperatures and moderate precipitation, rainfall, often experiencing colder winters and warmer summers. Desert. These areas are hot and dry with very little rain. Polar. These regions are extremely cold, especially near the North and South poles. They also have very little precipitation. Let's now investigate climate change. Climate change is a word that we frequently hear in the news and in talks about the future of our planet. But what exactly does it mean? Climate change, in its most basic form, refers to long-term changes in the Earth's average temperature and weather patterns. These changes have the potential to have far-reaching consequences for our environment, ecosystems, and even our everyday lives. The rise of greenhouse gases, or GHGs, in Earth's atmosphere is the main driver of climate change. Carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are greenhouse gases that trap heat from the sun and prevent it from escaping back into space. This natural greenhouse effect is critical for preserving Earth's livable temperature. However, human activities, such as the use of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas, deforestation, and industrial operations have considerably increased the concentration of these greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. As a result, the Earth's natural greenhouse effect has been boosted, causing global temperatures to rise, a process known as global warming. Let us pause and discuss the following question. What are some of the key factors that contribute to change in our climate? Let us look at some examples of global climate change impacts. Heat waves in India. In India, heat waves become more dangerous and intense with highs of above 50 degrees Celsius. These heat waves can have catastrophic consequences on agricultural and water supplies and pose serious health hazards, particularly for vulnerable communities. Melting glaciers in Arctic and Antarctic regions. One of the most visible signs of climate change is the melting of glaciers and ice sheets in polar regions. In the Arctic, sea ice is shrinking at an alarming rate. This has a profound impact on the habitat of polar bears, seals, and other Arctic species. In Antarctica, the West Antarctic ice sheet is losing ice rapidly, contributing to rising sea levels worldwide. As these ice masses melt, they raise sea levels, which can lead to coastal flooding and the loss of coastal communities. Coral bleaching. Coral reefs are extremely sensitive to temperature fluctuations in the ocean. Coral reefs are bright and diverse underwater ecosystems made up mostly of living creatures known as corals. These ecosystems are most commonly found in warm, clear, and shallow tropical waters, where they provide some of the most ecologically diverse and visually attractive environments on the planet. When water temperatures rise, corals eject the mutually beneficial algae that live in their tissues, turning them white and stressing them out, a condition known as coral bleaching. The Great Barrier Reef, the world's biggest coral reef system located off the coast of Australia, has seen widespread coral bleaching in recent years, endangering its biodiversity as well as the lives of people who rely on it. Siberian heat wave. In 2020, a record-breaking heat wave hit Siberia, Russia, with temperatures exceeding 38 Celsius degrees. Such severe heat in the Arctic area is unusual, accelerating the melting of permafrost. Permafrost is a permanently frozen layer on or under the Earth's surface, and releasing massive volumes of methane, a strong greenhouse gas, into the sky. This cycle adds to global warming. Let's pause and discuss the following question. How has your perception of climate change evolved after understanding these examples? Why is it important to learn about climate change? Climate change education is critical since it is one of the most important and far-reaching concerns confronting humanity today. As our planet heats because of human activities such as the use of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial operations, the impacts are felt all over the world. Rising temperatures cause more frequent and severe heat waves, extreme weather events, and ecological damage. Melting ice caps and glaciers add to increasing sea levels, endangering coastal towns and wildlife. Therefore, understanding climate change is critical not only for environmental reasons, but also for making educated decisions about how we live, work, and govern in a fast-changing world. By grasping the science behind climate change and its implications, individuals, communities, and policymakers can work together to mitigate its effects and build a more sustainable future for generations to come. Let us pause and discuss the following question. How has learning about climate change today affected your personal awareness and understanding of the issue? Next, let's explore a glossary of climate change terms. Greenhouse effect. The natural process by which certain gases in the Earth's atmosphere trap heat from the sun, preventing it from escaping into space, is the greenhouse effect. This process maintains a suitable temperature for life on Earth. Greenhouse gases. Gases in the Earth's atmosphere that contribute to the greenhouse effect are greenhouse gases. Common examples include carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Carbon footprint. The total amount of greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide, emitted directly or indirectly by an individual, organization, product, or activity throughout its life cycle. Carbon sequestration. The process of capturing and storing carbon dioxide to prevent its release into the atmosphere, often through techniques like afforestation, planting trees, and carbon capture and storage. Carbon pricing. Policies and mechanisms such as carbon taxes or cap-and-trade systems designed to put a price on carbon emissions to incentivize reductions and promote cleaner technologies is known as carbon pricing. Net zero emissions. Net zero emissions means achieving a balance between the amount of greenhouse gases emitted and removed from the Earth's atmosphere, typically by reducing emissions and implementing measures to remove carbon dioxide, such as afforestation or carbon capture and storage. Hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs. Synthetic greenhouse gases commonly used in air conditioning, refrigeration, and other applications. They have a high global warming potential and are subject to international agreements for phase-out. Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. A set of 17 global goals established by the United Nations to address various global challenges, including climate change, poverty, inequality, and environmental degradation. With this, we have reached the end of this week. We will meet again next week for yet another exciting session. Till then, have a great week. Thank you.